All right, so I'm going to tie what I call a everlasting squirmy. It's just a squirmy worm like this, but the way we're going to do it doesn't cut through all your material and whatever. So all I'm using here, or all you need, is your favorite hook. Curved hook is what I typically use here. I have 140 UTC red thread. I'm just going to start a ways back behind the eye, trim this out. This thing is super easy to tie. And I'm just going to come forward and back a couple times just to build up a decent thread base. And the next is just this little tiny hair tie. My daughter has one. They come in you can get them in like a multi-pack of colors. So what I'll do is I'll just pinch it. I'll take my Squrimy material and make sure that the circumference of the rubber band is sufficient for me to be able to push material through. And I'm going to use that as my tie-in point. I'm going to keep this right on top of the hook shank. And this part can be a little challenging to keep it so it stays like this. And I'm just going to place a few thread wraps going forward until I have something like that. Now, I did not come up with this idea. I've seen it done by several people, although I have not seen a video on it. And so I figured I'd just shoot a video on it. I was showing some other people. And they were like, well, I'd never seen that before. And I'm like, really? I thought this has kind of been around. So anyway, I'm just going to tie this second loop in up front. If the second loop's a little bit bigger, don't worry about it. As long as the back one is the same circumference or just a little bit bigger, not the same, but just a little bit bigger. And put a few thread wraps underneath. And next, all I'm going to do is just tie this all in. So really, whatever your favorite color Squrimy material is, you can find these little rubber bands in or something pretty close. And so I'm just going to literally just fill this up with thread until all this is tied in. And we're going to whip finish. Pretty simple stuff. The nice thing about this, though, is that it doesn't... if you're on the water and say it's cold or something, you don't have to worry too much. You can just keep the Squrimy material in your pocket and swap them out as they get destroyed. Excuse me. And I'm getting pretty close. I think you guys get the idea, right? Usually I take my time and make all these thread wraps like really nice and perfect to make sure all that material is locked down. Although for something like this, I'm not really sure it's super necessary. So anyway, we're just going to finish this off right behind the eye. Just take my whip finisher. Put in 2 or 3 wraps behind the eye. Super effective as far as the Squrimy is concerned. And then what I'll do is I'll just take my super glue and just super glue the hair on there. Just kind of super glue all this into place. Really give it a good dose of super glue. And then fully let that dry, and essentially that's the fly. You don't want this material to necessarily get on that super glue. I'm just going to do it just to show you. So the front loop's a little bit bigger. It just depends on which way you like to go. You can go from the front to the back or the back to the front. I do find it's easier to come, for me at least, to come over the top and kind of pull the material through. I know it looks maybe a little challenging or whatever, but I can promise you this is much easier than trying to deal with these with the frozen fingers or something. And then to help keep it on, you just make 2 or 3 wraps over the shank and then send the squirmy material through the other side of the rubber band. Maybe. Come on. I've got that glue on there and now it's sticking to everything. That's why you wait until your super glue's dry. There we go. But something like that. And you can kind of just leave it knotted up. You don't have to get it all straight and everything. You know, these worms move around in the water. And so it's really just kind of like that. And then if, you know, the material gets trashed or whatever, you know, you can just have your squirmy material in your pocket and save your hook and just put a new one on. And so that's it. That's what I call the everlasting squirmy. I mean, it's almost impossible to tie something easier than that. But squirmies are super effective, and you know, I don't know what else to say about it. Give it a shot. Put some in your bag and go fish them. Happy tying, everybody. Take care.